Sunday morning, Moscow, July, 10 o'clock. My husband's former neighborhood where he grew up. We are on our way to a tour nearby in Izmailovo. There was one of many Stalin's bunkers and we bought a tour there. Before we get there, I will provide a short historical introduction. The bunker and Moscow subway were conjoined twins since conception. Work on Moscow subway started in 1934. At the same time, work started on the biggest sports stadium in the world. It was supposed to fit 120,000 spectators. In 1935, the first subway line was open. It ran through the center of Moscow to Sokolniki, an area close to the stadium under construction. Under the cover, they built a very nice bunker connected to Kremlin via a car tunnel, an underground command center, and a hangar for 150 tanks. After that, all work on the stadium was halted. The unfinished structure sat there for decades until it was decided to put it to use. This is when the long-abandoned bunker was rediscovered and turned into a museum. I'm now inside Stalin's study. We're having a private, very interesting tour. This study is an exact copy of Stalin's study in Kremlin. So the idea was that when he's here, it's like exactly the same. And some of the furniture is original. This desk is claimed to be original. Original wall map. This bunker was used primarily very early in the war and not for very long. It's only 9 meters underground. So after the nuclear weapons were introduced, it was no longer practical and just was let sit. This is reportedly Stalin's bedroom. All these they're not original because after it was abandoned for 40 years, closed up, there was some water penetration damage, so that was reconstructed. And also, interestingly enough, the real floors were 3 meters deeper. They raised the floors to allow the water to go somewhere, and underneath that there are real floors way lower. So the actual dimensions of were a bit different. Center of command built for Stalin, and you can hear the sound. This hall has been specially engineered. Stalin had a quiet voice to amplify, and I'm right in the middle of it. And you can hear my voice. This is special acoustics, natural, amplified by this. Not electric, not microphones, just natural acoustics. Exited the bunker and wanted to explore what else was nearby. So this is a flea market in the new compound that was built in, so to say, Russian style. Definitely no more than 20 years, I'd say last 10. They took inspiration from the old Russian trading places. I think it's quite kitschy. Movie backdrops, always fake when you come close. Oh, this is how it looks from the lake. All new construction, with a flea market inside. And then we're heading on to a real historic place, which was an old residence of Ivan the Terrible. From here, we took the subway to a different part of Moscow. Visiting the bunker and hearing how Stalin rode there in a car from Kremlin via a 17-kilometer tunnel made us think of subway tunnels. We always imagined that those were mostly straight, but no. Moscow new subway trains made it easy to notice. Alright, so here we go, turning right quite a bit and straightening out again, going up and to the left quite dramatically. Who knew? We wanted to show Dennis the Church of Ascension, a monument on the UNESCO heritage list. Kolomenskoye. And one of the most interesting buildings is being restored and covered up, so we're not going to see it. The place also has an absolutely gorgeous view on a hill over the river, and you could see far, far, far. Let me at least show you some pictures. As you enter the complex through the gates, the Church of Ascension comes into view. The 203-foot structure literally ascends towards heaven from its base of 3 massive covered stairs. It is on the UNESCO heritage list for a reason. It is transcendent. Another church in the same ensemble. Very overgrown. You hard to get a full view. A very vertical church, the same as the other one. The church built 1529. Here we have a reconstruction of the summer palace of Tsar Alexei, the father of Peter the Great. Woodworking is in Russian blood. Russia is a very cold country, so residential buildings were made out of logs rather than stone. Even royal residences were wooden. When I was a kid, I read Pushkin's fairy tales, and the illustrations, the best book had illustrations by artists who worked in very early 20th century, and there were always this kind of stuff there. And I grew up in St. Petersburg, and in St. Petersburg you don't find any of it. To me, it's architecture from fairy tales. Most notably, the St. Basil's Cathedral in the Red Square. And yet, these are existing buildings that were in use. On some level, they were like Victorian houses. If you got lucky enough to see Victorian houses with all the details and all their wonderful wallpaper and wood carving and banisters. Quite whimsical. And so are these.